welcome to the Inspiration and Enlightenment Workshop. Today I'm going to talk about enlightenment and what it's good for. It's very simple. Enlightenment is the expansion of our personal consciousness. And what is that good for? Well, it brings us back to who and what we are. We are immortal souls having planetary experiences. Of course, every experience, if repeated often enough, becomes boring, which means that the evolution of experience is the name of the game. And we cannot evolve our experiences if we don't evolve our consciousness. Now, this can work in two ways. We can expand our experiences by spreading, means we're trying out many different things. We try to experience many different things. But we can also raise our consciousness to a new level and have a much broader and much higher way of experiencing. And what could that be? Two things. First of all, enlightenment allows us to access other realities. Apart from this planetary game, there are other realities to explore. The second thing that we can explore is the totality of ourself. At the moment, with a common state of mind, we know very little about the totality of ourself. Kabbalists claim that a common person, which is focused on planetary experience, knows only 0.025% of the totality of itself. Let me give you an example of the relationship between the evolution of consciousness and the evolution of experience. So, little babies have a very uninvolved mind, of course, and because of that, their ability to experience is very limited, mostly to the senses. The mouth, the nose, they can't move and don't understand much. Now, when the baby grows up and gets feet on its own, yes, it's able to move around and expands its ability to experience. At the same time, it also develops the ability to speak and understand. And this grows the mind and puts it on a new level. Because now the parents can explain to the children the significance of the things that's happening around the child, and thus giving the child access to new experiences. Now, when we reach adolescence, we get interested in the opposite sex, which opens up another new range of experiences. When we become adults, we experience love, relationships, family, and career, and struggle, something new that we didn't know as children. It goes both ways. Experiences expand our consciousness, our understanding, our wisdom. An evolved consciousness is able to realize and go for new experiences, which grow our consciousness again. Now, what usually happens is that when people reach the mid-20s, they stop evolving their consciousness. Yeah, they still learn, yeah. They still get new experiences, they still acquire new skills, but the evolution of the consciousness slows down, and people spread experiences horizontally. Yeah, they try this car, they try that car, they try this vacation, they try that vacation, they try this relationship with that person and the relationship with another person. It spreads horizontally. Yeah, we repeat experiences, and if we're lucky, once in a while, and if we're daring enough, we find a new kind of experience. Try that out a few times and until it gets boring. That goes on until we are around 40 years old, when we hit the 40s. That's the time when the career is already stable, maybe you already paid down most of the house, kids are grown up, and we already had a lot of experiences, and the number of desires which we still cherish is getting less and less. At that time, we feel like there must be more to this life than just continuously repeating experiences. What about things like happiness? What about purpose, love, beauty? Now, this is an entirely new range of experience, because these things you do not find in the external world, you find it only inside. These are human values that we humans express in the external world. Now you might say, wait a moment, you can experience beauty in the external world, or happiness, but no. You can only experience them if another person expresses them. Only then. So relationships, and if you go into a concert, this is nothing but having a relationship, meeting other people and having a relationship. Only relationships allow us to exchange our deeper human values, like happiness, love, beauty and purpose. So as people grow older, they turn away from the external world and turn inside. And if you ask elder people what matters the most in their lives, they will tell you that it is these values that matters the most. The love they found in a relationship, the purpose their family or their job gave them, yeah. Beauty, beautiful moments, and happiness. So, this is what enlightenment does. Enlightenment ultimately, when you're somewhat exhausted, the experience in the external planetary life, enlightenment will turn your consciousness to the inside, and an entirely new world opens up. And that's when you begin to discover different realities, and little by little, the totality of yourself. Now, if enlightenment is so great, it expands, it evolves our consciousness, and it evolves our capacity to experience on a higher level. It's like, when you play a game and you level up, you can fight bigger bosses, you have access to new environments, new areas in the game. If enlightenment is such a great thing. Why is not everybody doing that? And this is, and why not everybody wants to do enlightenment, it's a very important point, which I want to discuss now. Now what happens is if you, let's take a step back to the architecture of ourselves. The totality of ourselves is very complex, and there's a lot above us, and there's a lot below our self-conscious awareness. We are this little point of self-consciousness that sits between the world above and the world below. Now, when we expand our awareness, we will not only expand our awareness to the above and the higher self, our soul and higher self, we will automatically also expand it to the below. And that's scary, because below is our subconsciousness, and in our subconsciousness lurks our shadow and our demons. So as soon as we start doing enlightenment, we start facing our demons. And this is no joke. We have a dark side. And this dark side is very scary. And it's very difficult to deal with that. That's why we invented morality, in order to keep us from exploring, facing our dark sides, and doing something about it, and having to do something about it. And that's why religion and morality, they don't like enlightenment. I want to give you two examples. The first example is war. I don't know the percentage, but a very high percentage of soldiers who return from war, they return with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And the interesting thing is that they get PTSD not from what they saw, but from what they did. Yeah, faced with their own death, or witnessing the horrible death of their comrades, they ended up doing horrible things. The demon came out and they did horrible things. And then they asked themselves, wow, that is me? I'm like that? I'm a horrible person. And that causes the PTSD. Another example is rape victims, women. Some of them develop a PTSD not from what happened to them, the rape, but from the fact that a part of them enjoyed it, and that they maybe even had an orgasm. And it's the same thing with the soldiers. Yeah, something from beneath came out, a part of them from beneath came out, and the woman has to face it. Wow, I enjoyed this. Who am I? Am I a bad woman? And that causes the PTSD. So this is what makes people step away from enlightenment, because it increases their awareness of their dark sides. It's true, but it's necessary, because you cannot rise to the heights with weights on your feet. So you have to face your inner demons, You have to face your dark side, but you have to transform them. Compare them with wild animals. Yeah. Anger, for example. Yeah. A series of unfortunate events. You get angry, you freak out, you get violent, you can go to jail. The good news is that animal can be tamed. And that's the tedious part of enlightenment. You tame that wild animal and put it to a good use. You turn it into a watchdog. And this is also where control comes in. Let me give you another example. Let's say you're a very peaceful person and you never fought in your life. You never got physical in your life. But you end up in a situation where you have no choice but to fight back. You get into a bar fight and you just have to stand up for your friends. So you fight. But because you never fought in your life before, there is no control, there is no training. Yeah, so what you will do? You will fight as hard as you can. And you don't know what is too much fight and what is not. So you will go all the way. Maybe you will kill someone. Just because you don't know. You never faced that angry watchdog inside you and trained him. So you will go all the way and kill someone. That's the danger. Instead, if you face your anger on a regular basis and you train that wild animal, you can balance the expression of anger, you can control it. So, that's what enlightenment is good for. It evolves your consciousness, and with that, it evolves your capacity to experience. If you pursue enlightenment, you will come to the point where you will have access to other realities and the totality of yourself. Enlightenment will expand your awareness so you discover both the higher aspects of yourself and the lower aspects of yourself. The purpose of discovering the lower aspects of yourself is to recognize and transform love and light. Please help spread the light by liking and sharing. Thank you.